Anthony Slater and Shams posted on The Athletic. I'll just read from it, and I want to get your immediate response here. So they wrote, this is actually the two lead paragraphs of the story. Golden State Warriors and president of basketball operations Bob Myers have had no substantial contract extension talks in months, and the sides are bracing for the likelihood that Myers could walk away from the franchise, league sources told The Athletic. His contract is up on June 30th, so that is currently about 5.5 weeks, a little, maybe just a little bit less than 6 weeks away. Both sides exchanged offers and counter offers several months ago, and there has since been no traction on a new deal. League sources say the Warriors have not yet presented an offer that has blown Myers away, but there's also a growing sense that an ever competitive market offer near the top of the executive food chain may not keep Myers with the franchise that he joined in April of 2011 as an assistant general manager before his promotion to GM in April of 2012. Okay. This was posted from what we saw in a tweet, like maybe even at the time that the team was having like some sort of function. So that was probably awkward, but it sounds like Bob Myers may not be running the Warriors anymore. What is your immediate thought after reading that and hearing that?
I don't know. It's not a great thing to read when you know how much he's done for this franchise. I feel like I think one of the guys, I think it was Anthony Slater, mentioned it on the podcast that, you know, Bob Myers re-signing or coming back would almost feel like what Iguodala did this past year. It was kind of just like a for Steph signing. And Iguodala was probably ready to hang it up after that championship, but came back for Steph. I feel like that would be how Bob Myers comes back too. And I mean, it doesn't say it doesn't say that he's out yet. It just says that talks aren't totally progressing.
Yeah, and they still have, like I said, 5.5 weeks or whatever. And if
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know if you remember this, but Bob Myers was the assistant general manager to who?
Was it Travis Schlenk?
Jerry West.
Oh, Jerry West.
Jerry West was running the team, and he came in under Jerry. And then at some point, he replaced Jerry, and Jerry was a consultant. And then Jerry went to the Clippers to do something
Is he about to
similar,
do
I
the
believe.
same progression? Keep following Jerry. What if I know Bob's got a lot going on. Like I feel like, haven't we heard like Disney something with him too? Like
There's
this is
there's lots of rumors, and
media.
I'm sure some of them are being pitched by whoever's doing his PR.
I'm just wondering, like, how Tom Brady kind of got that contract. He's not Bob Myers, no Tom Brady, but Tom Brady kind of got that TV contract that's like, okay, when you retire, same with Draymond, when you retire,
Mm-hmm.
like this is here for you. Like, I'm wondering if there's a chance that he does, like, because the story is right that Bob Myers doesn't want to be the guy who basically has to trade all of his friends. Like, he doesn't want to be the guy who's like, okay, Klay Thompson, like, I've known you for X amount of years. The gig is up, man. You don't got it anymore. Sayonara. Like, he doesn't want to do that because these guys are like his friends. And so I'm wondering, like, can he sign a 1-year contract? We don't know GM salaries. I don't think we know the years on them. It's like one of the I don't know, sports contracts we can't actually see. But I'm wondering, like, can you do like a 1-year deal? Just like the Iguodala, like this is legit the last dance. 1-year deal. And he has stuff lined up after, kind of like the Tom Brady Draymond Green media deal. Like he's able to figure out something where he's like has something guaranteed for him somewhere else after. He's just doing this for Steph.
I don't think you can do what he does in his job and do it solely for. There has to be selfishness going on in there. He's not one of 5 players on the court. He is one of a handful of people who decide what's going to happen, right? He only has one boss, and that's the big boss. So I would be surprised if he signed on for 1 more year. The only thing that makes sense to me and why this holdout is kind of what it is to just juice up his own price. And, we have this thing which is very similar to how he was brought in, which is Mike Dunleavy is the assistant or whatever he is, whatever his title is. But Bob Myers and Mike are at this draft stuff. They're going to be involved. Mike is you probably don't even remember Mike as a player.
No, but I know his name and I've seen clips, but no, I didn't watch him growing up.
But Mike would have been on the teams right before We Believe. And when the Warriors drafted him, he was the third pick in the draft behind Yao Ming and Jason Williams, the Jason Williams from Duke, who's now on TV. It was a 2-player draft, and the Warriors got the third pick. This is just what always happened for the Warriors. And Dunleavy was not a great player. He was a solid player, but if the way that the fans treated him because he was not Yao Ming was really bad. And I'm actually kind of surprised that this is the franchise that he came back to because of that, because he was just blamed for everything. I remember there was one game you guys did not come to this game. You guys were still babies, but me and your mom went, and we had these like backstage passes to whatever the club was or whatever the little bar was. And Uncle Cliff Robinson was on this team. So this is probably around 2005 timeframe is my guess. I just remember Uncle Cliff buying drinks for people in the bar. And then I remember Mike Dunleavy sitting at a table kind of in the back. There's, some, I don't know if it was his girlfriend or his wife and friends, but there was like 2 or 3 women next to him. And he just looked like the most unhappy human in this whole place. He's like, do I really have to be here? This was kind of the thought that I had. So he's not, he was like really blamed for not being great and not taking the Warriors to the, to the next level. So it's just surprising to me that he's the guy that's going to replace Bob Myers because of who he was. And, Bob Myers is I think he has a friendly relationship with this fan base. The second he leaves,
I'm off. I'm out.
And the second Mike Dunleavy comes in and makes a decision, he's going to get the blame that Bob Myers will never get. So it's a really interesting thing. And Sean Livingston is involved in some way. And Sean Livingston's a very popular ex-player.
The Lake Up Kids.
And then there's the Lake Up Kids coming up. And then there's Joe. Will Joe have even more influence without Bob there? Will he overpower Mike Dunleavy like Mike Dunleavy was overpowered by power players? But that's kind of how I feel, right? Is Mike Dunleavy here to basically allow Lake Up to have more power because he's, somebody that he could influence?
You think the way he played on a court is like a direct comparison to how he acts off it? Hey, a good example is me in 2K, man. I'm getting buckets, 30 points per game in 2K, and on real life, I won't shoot the damn ball.
I know. Me and JJ, our team beat your team last weekend.
Oh wow! But what I will like, okay, a little bit of good old revisionist history, right? Like, as much as Bob Myers gets praise, he's a charismatic individual, former NBA agent, I believe, and that's but like 80 or 90% of his success is because of a guy he didn't draft.
Of 3,
I thought
3 guys he didn't draft, right?
I thought he drafted Clay.
Did he draft?
I don't think he drafted Steph.
He wasn't even here when Steph was drafted.
Yeah. So my point is, like, yeah, charismatic guy, former NBA agent, but like none of this happens without the guy you didn't draft. So like, it's kind of like going into, this is not a good example because I've never been in a fight, but I was going to say going into a fight with like the big jack guy, like you feel more confident. That's how like going into free agency negotiations are when you have Steph Curry under contract. You feel a little more confident about the team you got, that you can get some players. So Bob Myers is great, man, but as long as I have 30, I feel like I'm pretty the next GM is going to have an easier job.
So I actually got this wrong. It's possible Jerry West was not running the team at that point. Jerry West may have been a consultant at the time, but
What's the
um,
Travis Schlink connection? Because TK was saying he was on here. I wasn't paying attention to front office stuff back then, so I forget how he was involved. Because he went to Atlanta
yeah,
to be the GM and
I
then got
think he was.
replaced by
I think he
nepotism.
was. I think he was Myers' assistant.
Okay,
Is what it was. Let's see. Yeah, he was assistant general manager with the Warriors, having joined them in 2004. So he's been with the team for a long time. He was the video scout of the
Bob.
team. He also worked Travis.
Oh, okay, okay.
He also worked as video coordinator for the Heat
Yeah, bring him back.
before then, and then he
He needs a
ran
job.
basketball operations in Georgia. So okay, so I say all of that to say this, which is if you are Bob Myers and you feel like you have some leverage, you have outside opportunities, this is a hard job. You're at the end of Steph's reign here. You know, Steph has more years behind him than he has looking forward as far as his basketball career is going. Steph had a great year. Steph's probably going to have a great year next year,
He- yeah,
right?
he just doesn't look like he's slowing down. The only thing that can slow him down is injuries.
Right. And he's had injuries in the past, but he's gonna play until the wheels fall off. And if he has to change his game, then maybe he plays a little bit more off ball and not the man at some point later in his career in his upper 30s or whatever. So if you're Bob Myers, your leverage is I have all of these other things to do. Running this organization with all of these egos and superstars and such is not easy. And so, if someone else can do it, then that's fine. And I would say probably his number one job is managing owner expectations, right? You have an owner who believes that he is light years ahead of these other organizations. And so you kind of have to know when to agree and disagree and try and do the things that the owner wants and then tell the owner, hey, this is not very smart. Like we probably shouldn't do this, right? That is probably his most important job. And it is also very important for him to have the relationships that you had. I don't know if he would say that they're friends necessarily, but they are people, they are colleagues who he is very close to. And he will have to make some hard decisions. Klay Thompson is not going to be signed for $40 million again. Like it's just not happening. They have a really tough decision on Draymond as well that you kind of hope that they decide
Play
now
him.
when Bob is there versus when he's not there. But maybe it's easier for Mike Dunleavy to come in and go, okay, I am not as close to these guys, and I can make this decision with a better mindset and less of a bias. Who knows? Who knows what that is? But I would say Bob is in a great spot. Joe Lacob, and this is owner stuff. Like if Joe Lacob believes that he doesn't have to pay top dollar for this GM because he has to pay so much money in luxury tax for his own team, and then he's going to have to do this dance with Kerr after next year, then maybe it is the GM who kind of takes it, and maybe he does believe in the tree of success for the Warriors, which is they've built this team. Bob is at the top, and then he's got his lieutenants, and everyone is sort of working together. Maybe he believes that they won't skip a beat. That is his decision. That is his money. It is his job as an owner to make that decision. And you just hope that there's no hard feelings. But if you're Bob and you believe that you're doing a great job and you believe that you're valuable, then you test those waters and see what's out there. What if he does have an offer from another team that will make him happier?
Yeah,
That's the thing, and Lacob has to be able to walk away if he believes that is best for the team.
yeah. I think the Clippers guy GM is looking at like something in Washington too. So that just continues to line it up for Bobby Boy. But yeah, like you said, managing egos from the player side and from the owner side. I don't know. I'm high on Mike Dunleavy's ability to do that. What better to consult a player than a former player? They get it, right? I don't want Lacob's kid, little rich boy growing up, nepotism job, to be the one who's trying to make players feel better. Rather
Okay,
have
but
Mike
you've
Dunleavy.
watched Succession, right? You've watched the first couple seasons of Succession. I'm only at the end of season 1, so I don't know, but I know the story, and I cover wrestling, so I cover the McMahons as well,
This is
right?
gonna be a terrible comparison because these people are just bad people.
No,
Like
but
I
I'm
hope the
saying
Lacobs aren't that.
no. I don't think that they are. I highly doubt that they are. But the kind of the hierarchy, because you're saying nepotism, and you believe by saying that neither of the sons would have that job without Joe being their dad. And I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know their work. I've never met them. It sounds like they're pretty smart dudes in general, and they work hard. But is it? Do you the thing about the nepotism thing is, do you trust the dad to treat them as his equal? That is the hard part, right? That is the hard part in cases like this. If you want your sons to be a part of this operation, can you manage them like employees rather than like your children?
Yeah, I have no clue. I don't know the Lacobs like that. If they're anything like the Roys, no. So, yeah,
All
we
right.
will see.
All right. Do you have a prediction?
Um, it just doesn't feel right that if you talk about the core five is really Steph, Clay, Dre, Steve Kerr, Bob Myers. It's like been the same group of people since this thing all started. It doesn't feel right that the GM's the first one out, you know? So I don't think I don't
But
think he should go.
if one of the five had to leave, which one of the five would you want to leave?
If I just had to pick one right
Myers.
now,
It's probably Myers, right?
I'd trade Clay. Hey, but yeah, it's probably if you get nothing in return, which one do I think should leave? Yeah, Bob Myers.
It's probably Myers.